One morning you wake up and you're like, "Ah, I'm Eric Saubert." And that night you go to bed a hero. What is up, everybody? It's Point After Thursday, right here on Fantasy Sports Advice Network. I am Biggs. With me is Grindberg. As every week, we will be taking your starts and sits questions for the Week 16, probably semifinals in most leagues, final in one of mine. And we just watched one of the most epic heavyweight fight football games of all time. The Rams and the Seattle Seahawks battling it out in division on a Thursday night football game, which typically, like, they don't live up to expectations. This one went 30-30 in overtime. The Rams came out with the ball to start overtime, scored a touchdown. Seattle got the ball, drove down the field. Jackson Smith and Jigba redeeming himself. Couldn't have gotten it without this overtime period. Getting the touchdown, and then Darnold to Eric Saubert for the 2-point conversion. The Seahawks take control of the NFC West, likely take control of the NFC in general. The 49ers are probably going to get a wild card. We're going to get 3 playoff teams out of this NFC West division. Just incredible stuff. It was such a great game, back and forth. Puka Nacua with an all-timer. And in my most important league, my home league, I'm playing against him, and I had JSN. So he was just absolutely torching me, and then I got some redemption towards the end. What a game, Mike.
Oh, man, it was incredible. And it started out kind of slow, if you will. And, 4 for 74 for Puka in the first half. Not too much to cry home about. 0 for 0 for JSN in the first half. But that quickly turned around for both those guys. Incredible second halves from both those premier wide receivers, and the type of performance we were hoping for headed into our semifinals week and most of our fantasy leagues. So Biggs, what a game! What a game!
Yeah, you just said the word, and right before we went on, I was texting my group chat in my home league. Somebody said I'm getting smoked in a league by Stafford and Puka, and I said, the French have a word for this game. Incredible. Incroyable. Also,
Incroyable. Incroyable is what we call it.
This is breaking news. I just had a guy offer me in a Campus to Canton league, Travis Hunter and Dylan Sampson for Justin Jefferson. And I said, no, sir. For Justin Jefferson, you're going to give me Travis Hunter, Blake Corum, Kyle Pitts, and Tennessee's Chris Brazell. And he just sent me the thumbs up.
And it does happen. Biggs, dreams are made, and crazy situation because the Fishbowl team of Grindberg is going off. Ranked 72 out of 500 headed into today's action out of 5,000 entrants. And I'm projected for 371 after the Puka Stafford game. And I'm excited to see what the weekend brings now, Biggs, because this could be a final championship run for me. That's insane.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good on you.
Good on me. Puka and Stafford. Good on us. Let's go. What's your thoughts on this game as far as the Kenneth Walker resurgence? He had a couple monster runs, explosive runs. We saw him from the outside. We were hoping for a little bit more from him this year out of that Clint Kubiak offense, that run heavy funneling to the outside, perfect scheme for Walker, but just didn't end up happening for the first bit of the year. Now, some injuries plagued him throughout the season, as it has in years past. So are we back in on the Kenneth Walker train rest of season? I mean, this Seahawks team is for real now.
Well, we talked about it on the Dynasty Pulse, and I invite everybody to watch that episode when it drops tomorrow on Friday. We talked about Breece Hall, and we have this phenomenon in fantasy football where somebody does some things and they're good and everybody thinks they're good, and then they might have a down year and their value drops. And that's kind of been Kenneth Walker for the first half of this season. I've always liked Kenneth Walker. Talent doesn't lie. Situations can kind of muddle the waters a little bit, but talent overcomes, and Kenneth Walker is talented.
He is a talent, and it's an interesting situation the Seahawks have, especially this offseason coming up. But as it stands right now, they're a contender, and nobody's really stepping in their way right now. I mean,
I
this.
have a breaking update.
Uh-oh, what is it?
He says, "My bad, bro. Meant I gotcha." So it wasn't. He wasn't saying, "Okay, go ahead with that." But
Trashing?
his bad. And Alberto Mariquin, I have the Stafford Puka stack. You know what? My opponent in my home league, he also did, but he left Stafford on the bench. Wah, wah. He also played Colby Parkinson and Kyron Williams, and they had down games. So if I can get a huge game out of Brock Bowers and a huge game out of Audric Estime, Travis Etienne, and Josh Jacobs, I could be back in this thing lickety split.
Like a banana. And, we are ready. We are ready for some questions. If anybody's got any questions up in the chat, please hit us up for your weekend of championship play. And we're headed into that week almost, week 17, Biggs. What are you looking forward to most about week 16? What game is on your radar as far as one to watch for fantasy implications outside of the lineups that you're looking for? What game is going to, bring the fireworks that we're all looking for?
There's a couple of them. Cowboys Chargers.
Ah, that was the one I was looking at. Yeah.
That's a good one. Broncos Jacksonville is another good one. 49ers and Indy. Let's see what Phillip Rivers can do, and can Brock Purdy sustain? I think he had 35 points last week. Also, Jawan Jennings was one of my. Oh, I don't want to give it away.
Mm-hmm.
You got to watch the show on Saturday. And then what was the other one I was looking at? Where'd it go? Oh no, it was just in my head.
Steelers Lions looks like it could be a good one.
No, it was that. It was Ravens Patriots. So right now the Patriots are 3-point favorites. Oh, and so it's can Lamar come back and redeem himself after a really down couple of months? And is Drake May going to be able to pick apart a down Ravens defense? It's a down year for the Ravens. They seem to be taking the Chiefs' path. But Lamar and Drake May head to head. Is this a changing of the guard kind of moment? So I'm looking at that.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar. I mean, it could be just based off of injury. It could be a couple of things. Them being a little bit more conservative in the way they want to approach their offense. Especially down the stretch here, they are in the thick of that playoff punt, and they may not be wanting to stretch it with their defense being a little bit more healthy at this stage. So, it's a tough one, Biggs.
Yeah. The other one that I'm interested in is Tennessee and Kansas City. I would like Tennessee to get a victory and put some space between them and the Raiders, for the Raiders to get that first pick for Fernando Mendoza. We got the Titans, who they've been a cohesive unit for most of the season, and Cam Ward is slowly making progress. And then the Chiefs just lost your boy Patrick Mahomes, and my old boy Raiders legend, the magic mustache Gardner Minshew, taking the helm for Kansas City without Rashee Rice, and against a pretty bad Tennessee defense. But they're not gonna get beat by Gardner. So that could be an interesting game. Whether or not it makes waves in fantasy circles, it could be an underrated matchup with two teams that aren't going to sniff the playoffs.
Yeah, it's it's a tough one. You mentioned it about Rashee Rice being out, which is a devastating one. Yeah, this could be the game where why not? Why not improve our draft capital to the Chiefs? You lose another one that could improve their odds too to move up in the first round. We haven't seen a first round pick of this caliber in a very long time. So incredible stuff here.
What are your thoughts on the position that the Chiefs are in right now with Travis Kelce? there are scenarios in which I could see. Okay, say the Chiefs returned to the Super Bowl and lost again. It wouldn't be unrealistic to think that Kelsey was like, okay, we'll run it back one more time. We're right there. But with the Chiefs seemingly being a little bit further away at this point than they were last year, you think it's time for Kelsey to hang it up? I mean, you have $1 billion girlfriend. You can travel the world and just be in love. You don't have to get banged up. You don't have to put in the work. You don't have to go through the therapy every week. You don't have to go through the rehab all the time. Smart thing to do is just walk away, right?
It is, yeah. I mean, I would do it too. And there's some free agent tight ends out there, and names that maybe be interesting for the Chiefs, like a Kyle Pitts, could be out there for them. There's some pretty good classes of tight ends from what I see coming up in this class too. That could be a replaceable situation there, and you got to think that with the way that the cap space is in for the Chiefs right now, they may be looking at that situation as being it's time to move on from our old assets. It might not be a rebuild, but a retool. Anytime you have Patrick Mahomes, I don't think it's a rebuild essentially, but I think they've got the same situation as maybe the Rams were a couple of years ago, where they're needing to replace some capital and move on from some older assets, and that might be what's going to happen here on this offseason.
Yeah, I just made a trade for Patrick Mahomes. If I can find the league I did it in, I think it was this one.
Well, I mean, if it's a dynasty league, I mean, Mahomes has been, the QB2, right? So many teams were floundering coming into this week because of that, and it's kind of a get on a new boat, switch the passengers, and there you are.
It was an Omega, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so in a dynasty league that I just barely missed, it's you and me. It's our team that we that we managed together. We got knocked out of the playoffs, and we went ahead and sent Jalen Hurts, Juwan Jennings, Chris Olave, and Chris Brown away for Patrick Mahomes, Garrett Wilson, Kenneth Walker, and a third rounder next year. And Curdy is now the owner of that.
Shout out to Curdy, our homeboy.
Shout out to Curdy.
Yeah, that's a tough team to take on, man. That's one of the least favorable orphans you'll ever run into. But let's talk a little bit more about this weekend's game here. Biggs, this Miami Bengals game, what's your take on this one? This could be a game that could just easily just turn into some monster fantasy performances, and but it could be the opposite way, right? I mean, Miami's got a quarterback here that is starting his first NFL game, a rookie guy, Quinn Ewers. Schulte seems to think that it doesn't really matter. I think they may even think this might be an upgrade over Tua. I'm not sure that's the case in his first NFL game, but we'll see about what happens here. This Bengals defense is clearly on your streaming radar now, especially as DFS play. That's a really strong one for what I see them going at right now.
Yeah, the Bengals defense is not good, but also Quinn Ewers is not good. Quinn Ewers is an interesting story, and on the dynasty side of things, I've talked a lot about Quinn Ewers, and I see a very similar situation playing out in Texas with Arch Manning. It appears that Steve Sarkisian is just terrible at developing college quarterbacks. So you have Quinn Ewers, who was a 5-star recruit to Texas. 5-star recruits out of high school into college hit in the NFL at a rate of about 25%, which is by far the highest rate of any of the star ratings, right? It drops down to about 12% for 4 stars and 3 stars. But so basically what you're saying is anytime somebody comes out from high school into college and they have a 5-star rating from the prospecting companies, there's a 25% chance. So 1 out of every 4 of those 5-star quarterbacks will hit in the NFL. Quinn Ewers was a 5-star quarterback coming out of high school. He did not have the best college life, and entered the draft he was probably weighing some portal offers, whatever. He could have gone back, but he came out. He's young. He was a 5-star recruit. Those are all positive things. But the reality is his play at Texas was just not good. So then you look at Arch Manning over the course of this season. He was in a similar situation, and he's draft eligible. He was a junior this year, and he did not look good. I thought he looked better when he was in high school than he did at Texas. What does that mean? Well, it means that unless Quinn Ewers has grown a whole hell of a lot in the last 6 months being in the Dolphins organization and in their building, we're not going to see NFL level play from this kid in an emergency start in week 16 in the NFL. If you think that you're going to go out and have somebody at that talent level, he needs 3 or 4 years before he's ready, and he's going in as a rookie. Cincinnati's defense is bad, but they're not that bad. They're not so bad that they can't beat a mediocre college quarterback. What does that mean for the Bengals? Well, hey, let's have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase get right this week. It'll be an interesting game to keep an eye on, but I don't think it's going to be a good game to watch.
No kidding. Well, what about this game to watch? And there's 0 playoff implications for either of these teams, but I'm really excited to see how this Falcons, Cardinals, the battle of the birds, the bottom feeder birds, if you will, of the league. But this game could have some electrical performances. Drake London might be coming back. It sounds like he's on track to start. Michael Wilson, he's coming up with another game where he could be in line for a huge performance if Marvin Harrison doesn't suit up again. But he's practiced a couple times here already. The Cardinals' backfield is in shambles. I see this being a monster Bijan game. Lot of points being scored in this one, and I think that Jacoby Brissett continues his streak.
I like the word electrical.
I hope so. Yeah.
That was a pretty cool word.
Well, you know what? We sometimes need to bring it from the gut, and that's what I did.
I'm a football snob, Mike. I'm not watching stuff with no playoff teams involved.
All right, we got
That's
a question.
Not true.
Okay, well, here we go. He sat Stafford for Brissett, played Puka, played Colby over Ferguson, unfortunately. Sat Mayers for Fairbairn. I mean, that's the splits you take. I mean, I had Colby over Ferguson as well this week. So I mean, you never know what could happen, and it's just a split there. Brissett, I had him over Stafford as well. So I mean, you're going with the majority calls here. So yeah, I mean, Donta, I mean, you're in good shape. I think you're still probably positioned well, especially playing Puka.
Yeah.
Puka alone. I mean, and I think Brissett's going to be in line for a decent game too. It may not be what Stafford did, but probably pushing within 5 points, I'd say.
Yeah, I had one league, ESPN league, I had the Rams defense, 4 points. Jason Myers, 2 points.
Yeah.
I'm still projected to win by 10, but good Lord.
Good Lord. All right, Biggs. Trevor Lawrence. Huge performance last week. We talked about it on the Pulse. We talked about it on the forecast. But this Denver Broncos defense can be pretty tough. You were talking about this game beforehand, and you're excited about it. I mean, obviously, there's a huge AFC playoff implication here. Both these teams are leading their division, and got a lot to play for here in Denver. 3.5 point favorite. What's your take on Trevor Lawrence and how he's going to handle this adversity going into Denver and a game where I think it's going to be a prove-it game for him?
He'll be fine. If I'm not mistaken, Travis Hunter is coming back. He's got Brian Thomas Jr. Schultz made the point that they've been using him correctly. He's got Travis Etienne to throw to. Jacoby Myers has unlocked Liam Cohen's offense for Trevor Lawrence. They should be fine.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's a tough defense, but we saw what happened last week with Denver. Against the Packers, that was a high scoring game. So could be the same situation here. Denver, can give up points if in the right situation, and maybe not at home. They may be a bit tougher to play, but Travis Etienne has been on a heater. A monster upside in the passing game here. 3 touchdowns last week on 3 targets and 73 yards through the air alone. That's wide receiver 1 numbers. He probably would have finished wide receiver 1 on the week had he been counted as that. So Etienne, maybe the X factor in this one.
Sure.
All right.
I mean, is he going to have Nick Benito on him in coverage? I don't know. Is Trevor Lawrence going to have time to throw the ball? Those things remain to be seen. But Jacksonville has the weapons, and Liam Cohen is a smart guy. So that, and we've seen Bo Nix get flustered sometimes. Like, defenses have put the clamp on him occasionally throughout the season. So it very well could happen with this Jacksonville defense. The Jacksonville run defense is not talked about enough.
Yeah, exactly. And they are a stout unit. And I agree with you there, Biggs.
I got a stout unit.
I know you do. And you know what's a stout unit is this overtime game and being up early with the blizzard here. So I'm done, unless we got a question. And is Jawar Jordan a home run play if Woody is out?
Not a home run play, but depending on your options, I would start him. There are some running back substitutions that are being made this week. I have Audric Estime over Jawar Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that one. Estime's in a pretty great matchup this week, and we know that Devin Neal's been placed on the IR, and maybe Evan Hall plays in some sort of role, but I'm looking at Estime after what I saw last week and that pass catching upside that he may not have brought in, when he was in Denver or, in Notre Dame. But, from what you saw last week, they involved him there, and they like to involve their running backs if they're not Alvin Kamara, obviously, this year in the pass catching game because they weren't involving him much. But
Yep.
Yeah, it's incredible to see what's going on there. So yeah, I'm all in on Estime. I got him in my fishbowl lineup as he stand right now. They're big, so I'm excited to see what he can bring.
Yeah, in my home league, I sat Ashton Genty and put in Audric Estime.
Yeah, I mean, I would not argue with that, honestly. I mean, Genty's in a tough matchup, so stay tuned tomorrow morning to the fantasy forecast if you want to get the lowdown on our sits of the week, and then on Saturday morning our starts of the week, hit those up because we'll be bringing the heat, Bigs.
Bringing the heat.
Cash, if you want to continue on, you can go, but tell everybody what's going on this weekend. It's almost,
I don't know if you knew this though, it's week 16 of the NFL season and it's fantasy playoffs. Did you know that?
Yeah, I mean,
that's what's going on this weekend. Also, some college games. I'm about to go watch tonight's Sharks game. Don't tell me that. I don't know. It's on DVR. Shh. And watch all our shows. So tomorrow, Sit Show drops. Dynasty Pulse drops. Saturday, Fantasy Forecast Starts show drops. Sunday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. 11:30 a.m. Eastern, Breakfast with Biggs. Join me. And then we have Spilled Coffee right after that. Also tomorrow, from the forum, Debbie Dojo happens during the week. Tuesday, it's our Week 16 recap and Week 17 waiver wire show. And then same time, same bat channel, next Thursday, Points After Thursday, taking your starts and sits questions, getting you ready for championship weekend, week 17 in the fantasy season. Go to fantasysportsadvice.com. Join our nice little club we have here. We accept everybody, and we hope you win.
Hope you win, folks. And we'll see you tomorrow morning on the Sit Show with Fantasy Forecast Crew. So peace out.
Bye.